Hello everyone, it's me Samuel Taylor Ackroyd and good morning from Edinburgh Airport. Today I am going to be flying with EasyJet down south to Birmingham on board an Airbus A320 Neo. This particular A320 Neo is actually in EasyJet's Neo livery, and this will actually be my second time flying on one of EasyJet's A320 Neos that is in the Neo livery, because back on the 2nd of February last year of 2023, I flew on one from Glasgow to Amsterdam as part of a trip to Amsterdam for my 18th birthday. So I'm very excited for this trip, as this is my second time flying on one of EasyJet's special liveries. And as you can see, I am standing just next to the Royal Air Force Spitfire, which is just outside the Hampton Hotel here at Edinburgh Airport. I thought that this would be a cool place to do the intro to this trip report, because who doesn't love a replica of a Royal Air Force Spitfire? So I'm going to make my way over to the terminal at Edinburgh Airport and head through security and wait for my flight down south to Birmingham.
This would be my first time visiting the city of Birmingham, and I decided to book this trip just 10 days in advance as I fancied a little staycation, and one of the Premier Inn hotels in Birmingham was charging just £35 for one night, which I thought was a bargain, so I decided to book this one-night trip to Birmingham. Once I entered the terminal, I was able to go straight upstairs to security, as I had no luggage to drop off and a mobile boarding pass. As you can see from this shot, security was quite busy. However, it only took approximately 17 minutes to clear security this morning. Once I cleared security, it was just a short walk to the duty-free store, which I just walked through without buying anything, and made my way to get some breakfast. I decided to stop at the Pret-a-Manger, sorry if I mispronounced that by the way, which is adjacent to departure gate number 6, for a light breakfast, and I decided to have a cup of tea, a croissant, and a little cheeky chocolate brownie, even though it was only just after 5 o'clock in the morning. So not a big breakfast, but enough to keep me going until I got to Birmingham. After sitting around, having my breakfast and chilling for a while, our gate appeared on the departure boards and was departure gate number 13, so I made my way over there. It wasn't long before the boarding process started, and we made our way to the aircraft that would fly us down to Birmingham this morning. The aircraft I'd be flying on is an Airbus A320 Neo, registered as Golf-Uniform Zulu Lima Whiskey, which was only around a month and a half old at the time of filming, so very new indeed. It was delivered on the 28th of February 2024 and started operating commercial flights 2 days later on the 1st of March 2024. The EasyJet cabin is laid out in a typical 3-3 configuration, and on this morning's flight I would be sat in seat 18F, which is why I boarded through the back door. After sitting in my seat for around 15 minutes, it was announced that the boarding process was completed, so definitely a rather quick boarding process, and soon after we were pushing back to get ready to taxi and take off from runway 24. The legroom on EasyJet's A320 Neo aircraft is tighter than the seats on the A320 CEO aircraft. But as it's a short domestic hop, I can't really complain. The seat back pocket contains a safety card, buy on board menu, and a sick bag. As you can see, the tray table is very tiny, and last but not least, there is a coat hook on the sides of the seats. Soon after takeoff, the crew began the in-flight service, and I decided to have a cup of tea. As it was just a short hop between Edinburgh and Birmingham, it wasn't long before we were already beginning our descent. However, this is where the flight gets rather interesting. For the first time in my life, my flight had to conduct a missed approach while we were approaching the airport. I'll tell you about it shortly, but here is the footage of us conducting our missed approach.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has decided to stop our descent and climb back up. This is totally normal procedure. We kindly ask you to remain in your seat with your seatbelt fastened when we gonna have more information and try to land again. Thank you very much.
Taxi captain speaking, just keep you up to date with the current situation. As you've probably seen, we had to discontinue our approach into Birmingham. The reason for that was just due to the current weather conditions that are blowing through the airfield at the moment. As we're making our final approach, the wind shifted around significantly with the current shower that is currently blowing through the airfield at the moment. So this was forecast, we've got plenty of fuel on board for it. Our current plan at the moment with the weather is to hold just to the north of the airfield at the moment, about sort of 10 miles to the north. We'll hopefully let the weather blow through. It is moving through fairly quick. It's about sort of 60 to 70 miles per hour up here in the upper atmosphere. So hopefully it blows through fairly quickly, and then we'll make a decision on whether or not we're going to make a landing on the southerly or the northerly runway, as it's pretty much blowing straight across the runway at the moment. So as I said, that's the plan at the moment. Going to hold for the next sort of 10 to 15 minutes just to try and let the weather blow through. I'll keep you up to date with as much information as and when we get it. So apologies for this on the delay, but we'll get you on the ground into Birmingham hopefully as quickly but as safely as possible. Thank you.
As you just heard, the captain soon made an announcement to make us aware of the current situation and informed us that we would be holding north of the airport. As we were in the holding pattern, the captain was kind enough to switch off the fasten seatbelt sign for around 5 to 10 minutes so that people who need to use the toilets can go use them. Here's that announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, flight taxi captain speaking. Just while we're out here holding towards the north of Birmingham, I'll very quickly switch the seatbelt sign off for the next 5 to 10 minutes. So if anybody on board really needs to go and use the facilities, the toilets, etc., then go and do that as quickly as you can, please, for the next 5 to 10 minutes. As I said, just holding to the north of Birmingham at the moment in a bit of clearer air, and we're just monitoring the weather as it passes through the airfield at the moment, and we're seeing what other aircraft are doing. There is a few other aircraft in the hold as well. We're just seeing what the landing conditions are like on the ground at the moment before we make a decision on exactly what time we're going to make our approach into Birmingham. So once again, apologies for the delay to this, but as I said, we'll have you on the ground as quickly and as safely as we possibly can. Thank you very much for your patience and your understanding.
Finally, after doing some holding while waiting for the weather to get better, we started beginning a second approach, this time onto runway 33 instead of 15, So here's the landing into Birmingham Airport on runway 33.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Birmingham. The local time is 20 past 8 in the morning. Electronic devices may not be used in addition for calls, messages and internet access. Please keep your seatbelt fastened and remain seated until the seat.
As bizarre as this might sound, this was a somewhat cool experience for me, as this was my first time experiencing a missed approach, and while in a holding pattern, I got some rather nice views over certain areas of the city. Even if it was just mostly of the suburbs around Birmingham, it was still cool to get these views over the city, as this city is a new one for me personally. Other than that, it was just an average EasyJet experience. The crew were friendly and attentive, though the seats on EasyJet's A320 Neo aircraft definitely have tighter legroom than the seats on the A320 CEO aircraft. So on a longer flight lasting a few hours, I would definitely opt for an emergency exit row. However, when reserving your seats on the EasyJet app, it doesn't actually tell you if it will be operated by an A320 Neo or the A320 CEO, so it is a bit of a gamble. In terms of costs, I paid £40.99 for the standard fare, which only allows you to bring a bag that fits under the seat in front of you, plus an extra £5.99 to select seat 18F. All in all, I paid £46.98 for this flight between Edinburgh and Birmingham. You can get flights with EasyJet between the two cities for cheaper prices, but considering this trip was booked just 10 days in advance, I think that's still good value for money. I'd also like to thank the crew for allowing me a flight deck visit once everyone else had disembarked.
Well, that was definitely quite the landing. We had to do a missed approach due to a wind shear, so we've landed in Birmingham about 15 to 20. So we've landed in Birmingham about 15 to 20 minutes late, and no matter where I go in this airport, so far I have got nothing but really good views of our aircraft ever since we've landed here in Birmingham. And wow. I definitely feel lucky because I got to fly on EasyJet's special Neo livery twice now. Not that it's all that special, but for an aviation enthusiast like myself, it's pretty cool.
I made my way outside the terminal building and ordered myself a taxi to the popular spotting location round by the threshold of runway 15.
Alright everyone, so right now I am along Watkins Walk, just at the threshold here of runway 15 here at Birmingham Airport, which is a very popular spot for plane spotting, particularly when runway 15 is in use, which it would have been nice if it was today. It was earlier, and when my flight from Edinburgh was trying to land here, it was trying to land on runway 15 initially, before we had to conduct a missed approach as a result of a wind shear. So I've just spent a couple of hours here plane spotting here along Watkins Walk, and it's a very nice spot. Plenty of benches and bins, which comes in handy, so no need to bring a camping chair unless it's very busy during the summer, because obviously with these benches it's first come first serve. So if there's no more space on the benches, then tough luck if you don't bring a camping chair of some sort. But yeah, it's a really nice place for plane spotting. Just spent a few hours here, and not long ago the Emirates A380 touched down, which was the last movement I filmed for the plane spotting video I made, which will be the next video that goes up on my channel after this one. So now I'm going to order a taxi, and I'm going to head to my hotel, which is one of the premier inns in near Birmingham city centre.
As my taxi driver drives me over to my hotel, I'd like to thank you all for watching this video and thank EasyJet for the great flight. Stay safe, and I will see you all in the next video.
This premium hotel.
Yes.